These 5 tips will instantly help you aim and gunfight like a champion or pro player. I'm the pro coach for Beast Coast, and let's get started. The first tip is to play pixel fights. Now, what is a pixel? A pixel is when you tighten an angle so much that you barely see a sliver of the angle. Due to the fact that you can lean and siege in the general nature of the game, it's actually extremely advantageous to take these pixel fights. It's extremely hard to fight these angles, and it's super easy to punish people off of pixel angles like this. You see them cross and you can immediately pre-fire where they go. So let's break down why this works. Lean perspective. In other games like CSGO where you can't lean, you'll actually see that you can often see people's shoulders first before their heads and kind of find out where they are on pixel angles like this. But as you can see in Siege, when my friend is leaned, I can actually only see his head when I'm about to fight the angle, meaning he has the perfect gunfight on me. But be careful and make sure your pixel angles are super tight, because if you're wide out like this, he can actually see my shoulder before I see any part of him at all. I can barely see him right here, and he can just punish me off this easily. And this is why lean perspective is so important. You should be leaning right when clearing this angle, but if I lean left, you see I can't see him at all, and if I walk up, he'll always be able to see me before I see him. So if pixel angles are that strong, how do I counter them? That brings us to our next tip, Jiggle Picking. Jiggle Picking is counter-strafing an angle extremely fast to where they don't really have time to fully kill you, but you have time to gain full information on the enemy. As you can see, I barely have any time to kill this guy, and he's getting full information on me and can pre-fire me at any time. There are many variants of jiggling. There's a classic AD jiggle, there's a Jiggle Peek that a lot of high-level players use, and there's even knife peeking. But in this video, we're going to focus on the AD peek. So make sure you're abusing Jiggle Picking to check every single pixel angle as you're clearing into rooms. So if jiggling is so powerful, how do I counter it? That brings us to our next point, pre-firing. Due to Siege's one-shot headshot mechanic, this is an extremely powerful tool to punish people that are jiggling angles over and over and over again. Pre-firing common power angles as well is extremely important. Normally, if I walk up this hallway without pre-firing, this guy has an extremely free kill on me. But if I make sure I'm pre-firing all the common angles as I go, he stands no chance. So what happens if a guy is super stubbornly fighting an angle like this? I'm gonna teach you my pre-fire pattern, but make sure you take away and make your own from this video. Most guns in Siege have a 30 bullet mag, so you should have more than enough bullets to complete this pattern. So on first contact, I'm going to immediately dump 5 to 10 bullets into the angle. This will punish any low-level players that immediately re-peek after a Jiggle Peek. Then, I'm going to do something called warning shots. This will punish any silver, gold, or plat players that like to re-peek at regular intervals. Finally, you want to leave a little bit of a gap between your last warning shot and fully dump your mag into the angle. I'm actually able to punish even the highest champ players with this because they think they're safe when you leave that gap, but you're actually throwing them off with different timing. So finally, when you put it all together, it should look something like this. You can actually apply jiggling as well to this concept to make it very hard for the enemy to kill you. But moving on to our fourth tip, let's add the next level to your jiggling and pre-firing with level changes. If I jiggle this guy over and over standing, he's going to actually be able to pre-fire me super easily. So instead, change your level to crouch or prone to counter that. You can actually randomly weave in crouching and standing peeks to really confuse the enemy. To make your level changing even more advanced, here's a pattern you could try. Standing jiggle once, crouching jiggle once, and then move it to a completely off angle to make yourself completely unpredictable. So moving on to our last tip where we put all of this together, let's show you how to clear rooms. So first, make sure your crosshair placement is always at head level. That way, if they're on an angle, you can immediately shoot their head. There are doors that are going to be at different levels, so make sure you adjust your crosshair properly. And what you're going to want to do is actually lock your crosshair onto the angle that you are clearing for the current room. And when you see a common angle, you're going to want to jiggle it. So putting it all together, if I wanted to clear into lower tower, I would jiggle this door, walk in, Once I get here, I'm wrapping this angle to make sure if anyone's close, I could punish them instantly with a headshot. People like to hold angles on kitchen door, so I'm actually going to jiggle the right side and also the left side. Once that's clear, I can continue wrapping around to green hall door. I will jiggle this crouch angle behind the stage. I will wide swing to make sure no one's close tucked on stage to me, and I can continue clearing through, checking left split, checking right split, keeping my crosshair at red level, always wrapping the angle I want to be wrapping, so that my mouse needs to move the least amount and I can just shoot their head when it pops up on my screen like I'm playing Guitar Hero. This tip really brings it all together because I see so many beginner players in FPS games looking at absolutely nothing while they're clearing rooms. They're looking at their feet, they're looking at their cocks, they're looking at something completely different from where the enemy will be on their screen. And because of that, if you're looking here and the enemy swings you, you have to hit an insane shot to kill the enemy. But instead, make the shots and the gunfights easier for yourself. Yes, you see a lot of crazy flicks and highlights, but if you actually watch a pro or champion level player stream, you will see that most of the time they're just hitting default crosshair placement headshots like so. Finally, for the higher level players, to really refine your room clearing, one mistake I see a lot of higher players do when they're able to die to multiple angles, they'll actually freak out and start trying to hold both angles at once with a lot of ADHD like so. Never do that. Always try to isolate angles one by one and fully commit to one. Because be honest with yourself. Who are you killing like this? By trying to hold two angles at once, you are not holding a single angle. By committing to one angle and maybe taking a 50-50 risk, at least on the 50% chance that you get it right, you can kill them. And on the 50% chance where you get it wrong, you will die, but it's higher than the 0% chance that you present yourself when you're really trying to hold two angles at once. Thank you so much for watching, and make sure to check me out on TikTok and YouTube. If you're watching this video on TikTok, please check out my YouTube channel. The full video is there with full in-depth explanations for everything.